Hi, my name is Chris and this is Battle Nonsense. A few weeks ago, one of my viewers sent me an email where he asked if I could try to find out if DICE is planning to implement a queue system for the XP boosts in Battlefield 4. Well, first of all I have to say that I don't really like these XP boosts in Battlefield 4. And I'm also not a fan of these double XP events, to be honest. In my opinion, the entire unlock and progression system in Battlefield 4 is just horrible. But the unlock and progression system is another topic. Let's stick to the XP boosts here. So, if DICE is going to keep XP boosts in the game, then they should not be so useless. Every one of us who spends a good amount of his spare time in Battlefield 4 has a ton of these boosts. Especially the 25% one. You just get them all the time in those battle packs. A nice idea from FAQ 123 is that you should be able to combine boosts in a ratio of 3:1. So if you have 3 25% boosts, then you can combine them into one 50% boost. Another interesting idea would be to be able to give boosts to your friends. So if you have a friend who just recently started to play the game and you have like 50-25% boosts, then you can give them to him and he can combine them into useful XP boosts. But I'm getting a bit off topic here now. The question was if there could be some sort of queue system introduced for these boosts in Battlefield 4. Now, instead of just asking DICE, I took this a step further and came up with a design concept. But before I show you anything, let me make clear that this is just a design concept that is meant to explain the functionality. I do not suggest that it should look exactly like this if it gets implemented into the game. To improve the chance that this actually makes it into Battlefield 4 in one form or another, I made sure that it will work on PC with mouse and keyboard, but also on the console with a gamepad. Alright, now let's have a look how you enable a boost right now. What you have to do is go to the menu and then in the lower right you have this weird looking drop up menu. I think this is the first time that I've seen a drop up menu. Anyway, the design and placement of this option looks like the developer who created it was in a hurry and didn't know where else to place it. Or the designer responsible for the user interface design did not let him put it anywhere else. This place here just does not make much sense to me because I very rarely visit this section of the menu. As a result, I don't even know if I have a boost enabled or if the last one I enabled is even still active. The screen I see the most when playing Battlefield 4 is the deploy screen. So this is where I want to be able to see my active boosts and where I want to be able to select a new one. After I played around with it for quite some time, I figured that the best place for it is between the video feed and the customize and team setup buttons. What you see here now is that currently we have no XP boost enabled. Before we are able to add any boost to the queue, we must select an active one first. So when we now navigate to the element called active, we see that it gets highlighted. If we now press the left mouse button or the button on the gamepad, then we see that a new submenu is sliding out to the right. Here we can now select any of the XP boosts we have in our inventory. The number next to it tells us how many of them we have. Let's select the 100% XP boost, and once we did that, we see that this boost is now in the active section. And next to it we see the remaining time it will be active for. In this design concept, the time displayed there is only a static. Please imagine that you see it counting down from 60 minutes. Now, how can we queue some boosts? This is very easy. Just navigate to the queue element. Now the first item is focused. You can go left and right and queue up to 4 XP boosts. Let's click at the first item. This will also cause a submenu to slide out to the right. As you can see, it looks very similar to the active one, but we have one additional element, the first one. I will show you in a minute what this one is about. Now let us select the 200% boost. As you can see, we added that one to the queue now. So once the 100% boost expires, the system will move the 200% boost from the queue slot up to the active slot, and then it is active for 60 minutes. Let's navigate to the next slot and select the 25% boost. But what if I decide now that I don't want that boost? Well, in this case I can click at that slot again, bring up the submenu and select the first element in this submenu. This will remove the boost again from the slot. The reason why I added this only to the queue slots and not to the active slot is that to be able to queue XP boosts, you first need to select the active one. Yes, disabling the active one could just remove everything in the queue, but then you get the partially used active one moved back into your inventory, and this could get very confusing later on when you select such a boost or add it to your queue. So, in my opinion, when you activate a booster, you just have to live with that. Now, let's add the 25% boost for the second slot again. And for the third, we add the 50% boost. And there you go. One boost is active and 3 are in the queue. Once the active one expires, the next one from the queue will be activated automatically. You can add new boosters to the queue at any time. If you don't want to do that, or if you don't have any boosters left to add, then eventually it will look like this again. So with my concept, you are able to always see if you have a XP boost active and for how long it will stay active. You can also queue up to 4 XP boosts so that you don't have to bother about it for quite some time. And you don't risk to play without an active XP boost. Implementing this functionality should be fairly easy, and it should have a chance as it will also work on the console with the gamepad. Right now DiceLA is very busy getting the Battlefield 4 patch ready, which is expected to be released this fall. But once that is done, they will continue to have new initiatives in the CTE. Which changes get done partly depends on how big the request for that change is in the community. So if you like this design concept here for an XP boost queue system and you would like to see DiceLA implemented, then just post a reply in one of the topics I linked to in the description. Also have a look at my other design concepts. I made one for a better in-game chat and text feed, one that is about the 3D flag icons and the compass ribbon, as well as one for a better com rows with the addition of a tactical rows. If you like my content, then please consider to hit the subscribe button and I might see you next time. Until then, have a nice day and take care. My name is Chris and this was Battle Nonsense.